Hello crafty card makers, this is Shannon bringing you another card making video using products by Spellbinders, specifically the Clear Stamp and Die Club of the month for December 2022 called My Forever Person. Today I will show you an easy way to do no line coloring using Zig Clean Color Real Brush Markers. I start out by stamping my image with Jellyfish ink by Lawn Fawn. This is a very light ink that can be used with water-based markers. I'm stamping my image on Bristol Smooth cardstock. The brand that I'm using today is Canson brand. After stamping my image, I'll start with, zoom in, number 407 grass green. And the key to easy no line coloring is outlining your image with a dark marker, putting bolder lines where you want the shadows, then coming in with a light colored marker and blending the dark color out. Next, I'll be using number 45 pale green. Go. Now using the pale green, I'm just pulling the darker color from the edges and the center and blending that all together. If I get a little pool of color building up, I'll push that back into the darker areas or where I would want a shadow. After I blend with the light color, I clean the tip off of my marker onto a microfiber towel or a scrap piece of paper. So I'm outlining these images again, and in addition to outlining them, I'll put lines where I would want a shadow, or just creating bolder lines where I'd want a shadow. One thing that I do with the Zig Clean Color Real Brush Markers is I will trim off the tips of them if the tip is a little bit floppy. And what I mean by that is if I try to outline an image or fill in an image and I don't get a consistent brush stroke, I will just trim off a very small amount off of the tip so that it creates a more consistent brush stroke. That's the best way I can think to describe it. So now I'm just filling in these solid images with the 407 grass green. Okay, and next is number 70 orange, and just outlining these front facing flowers. Say that a couple times real fast. Front facing flowers, front facing flowers. um, you don't have to be very particular about your outlining. It's okay if you go in the lines farther than you anticipated. Oh, next is number 21, light Carmine. I'm filling in the center and a little bit into each of the petals so I can create some contrast. I was saying, if you go farther into the image, you don't have to worry because with your lighter color, you'll be blending that darker color out. So blending out that light carmine and the orange is creating a nice coral color for my flowers. Wiping off my tip, and my next marker is number 22 Carmine Red. Here I'm just putting a couple of hash marks and filling in the center of my flowers, just creating a little detail on the images. Now number 33, Persian green. I'm just putting this darkest color at the base of these flower blossoms. Next is number 42, Turquoise green, and I'll outline these. This will be my darker color that I outline the images with. And I'll come in with a lighter color to blend that darker color out, pulling from the edges. Number 419, Turquoise Mint. This is one of the new colors that came out in 2022 for the Zig Clean Color line. They have a blues and greens set that I purchased, and this is one of the newer colors. Next is 83, Lilac. Lilac, I'm not sure how to pronounce that. I'm drawing a bolder line on the left and outlining the rest of the image, the berries on the right. Next is 803, English Lavender. This one doesn't come into focus. Blending, pulling from the outside in, just blending that color. Wiping off the tip of my marker. And back to 407, Grass Green. Here I will just finish the rest of the greenery and outline or fill in the stems of the flowers. I know you've heard this before, but I'm going to say it again. If you like this project, please hit the thumbs up and subscribe if you'd like to see more of my future products. Click the notification bell after you subscribe, and YouTube will let you know the next time I post a video. I'm new to this YouTube method of sharing my creations, so if you'd like to leave a comment, your feedback is much appreciated. Still outlining those images with the 407 grass green, and then back to the 45 pale green to blend that darker marker out. And that's it. It's as easy as that. This method works the best with smaller images, though some larger images you can get away with it, but for the most part, it works very well just outlining the tiny images and blending it out with one lighter color. Okay, now I will die cut this out, and here I have a 5.5 by 8.5 inch panel of Spellbinders chamomile 100-pound cardstock scored at 4 1/4, and I'm going to trim 1/4 of an inch off the bottom and one side so that I can place this into a 4 1/4 by 5.5 inch side folding note card in the opposite direction, creating a trifold card. And this, cutting that small amount off the edges will allow there to be a border on the inside portion of the card. Here I have the sentiment from the same stamp set, but I lined it up on the wrong side of my MISTI, so I have my Tailored Expressions MISTI alignment tool to line it up on the correct side. And this image reads, "How did I get so lucky?" And I'll stamp that with Lawn Fawn Sunflower ink, so this will be a tone on tone. And I'll stamp it more than once just so because it's tone on tone, I want to make sure that it's legible. Okay, and next in my mini Misty, I have this is Hero Hues by Hero Arts Turquoise pigment ink that I'm using so that I can sprinkle embossing powder and heat emboss this sentiment. This sentiment will go on the front of the card, and it reads, I love your big heart, also from the same stamp set as the other images. Bring in my embossing powder, sprinkle that with embossing powder, tap off the excess, and sprinkle it one more time for good measure. Bring in my Wagner heat tool. I use setting 2, and I'll let that heat up for a little while before bringing it to the paper. What this does is it allows your heat gun to get good and hot and prevents any major warping of your cardstock. Clean all this up and set that aside. I will bring in a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch panel of waterfall 100-pound cardstock, also by Spellbinders, and a side folding 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch note card. I embossed using the embossing folder of the month for December 2022, which is called Heart Blooms. I'm gluing the embossed side of the panel down, so the debossed side of the panel will be showing. Get that stuck down there. Bring some acrylic blocks to weigh that down so it'll dry flat. Next I have my Mini Empress die cutting tool or die cutting machine, and I will be using my Lawn Fawn everyday sentiment banners to cut out that sentiment. And I'm going to create a sentiment strip. I'm putting this short on one end and long on the other since it's a long banner and I only need a shorter banner. Here I'll fumble and drop it on the floor. And okay, so what I do is I just fit the banner in there like a puzzle piece and scoot that to the opposite end, and this creates the shorter banner that I need. There we go. It's all aside. And next we'll create the trifold. By cutting that 1/4 of an inch off of the bottom and one of the sides, it creates a 1/8 inch border all the way around. Here I'm using my acrylic matte medium to adhere the panel. The reason I use the acrylic matte medium is because even if I get a little overzealous with the glue and some of it erps out the side, it will dry clear and matte. Here I am using low-tack double-sided or low-tack adhesive to roll over on itself and keep the card closed while I glue down the images. I'll start with the large heart, and the heart image is included in the stamp set, and it does come with the die set does come with a large and I believe a smaller heart die. Yes, two size heart dies, so it's very versatile set. I'll use some foam squares to lift up my sentiment banner, pop it up, pardon me. I'm delivering this in person, so I don't need to put foam squares all the way across. I'm not worried about it being crushed in the mail. I'll just line this up by eye. And it's a handmade card, so nobody will mind that it's not all the way even, but that's okay. That's the character of a handmade card. Here I bring in my T-square or my T-ruler, which scrap that idea. It's not going to work with that popped up sentiment. So I will glue down the letters to spell love. And this one will get away from me right about now. Get back there, guy. Stay stuck. Okay. Acrylic blocks always come in handy. I want to thank you so much for watching this video. I would love to hear from you in the comments below. Let me know if you like what you liked about this project or even what you might have done differently. Your feedback means the world to me. I know you have a lot of videos you could be watching, and I appreciate that you've chosen to watch mine. All the supplies I've used to create this card are linked below. Thanks for watching, and while we finish up this card, oh, I almost forgot the bling. This is Color Essential Gems by Spellbinders. This was a free gift included with the club kits that I received this month. Or I'm sorry, last month, December. And we'll just put, they do have an adhesive on the back, but I like to use the acrylic matte medium to adhere them just as a, just in case. These tiny little suckers keep sticking to me. Use a larger one on the larger flower blossom, front facing flower blossom. There we go. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next video. Bye for now.